Okay, so a couple days before the invasion, we got an image that Capella took that showed a Russian armored unit. There were tanks and armored personnel carriers. There were a lot of them, and they were lined up in columns along the road. And this was a huge change for us because all the other Russian armored units we saw were parked in different ways. They were all parked, basically the vehicles were in like a square, and it's how they camped, you know? So you had the tents, you had some vehicles parked in squares, and they would sit there for months. This was a unit that was clearly on the move, right? So everything was lined up in columns and there were no tents. We were like, oh my God, this is a unit. It is very close to the border. It looks like it's going to pounce. And the Biden people had said publicly that there were Russian units moving into attack positions. And they didn't say what that meant, but from looking at all the imagery, it was clear to us that's what this was, right? This was a unit that had not been there before, that had just shown up, and they had just shown up, and they were not planning on staying. We then came across a TikTok video where someone drove by the unit. And so we were able to confirm all the identifications of the vehicles because we had a TikTok video of the unit plus a satellite image showing it's ready to pounce. You know, but then we're not going to get another image from Capella for like 24 hours if we're lucky. So we're just waiting around, and one of my colleagues has the great idea to check Google Maps. It's like 5 o'clock in Monterey, which is about 3 a.m. local time in Russia/Ukraine, because this is on the Russian side of the border. And suddenly my colleague John Ford is like, oh my God, there is a traffic jam right next to where that unit is stationed. And we're like, wait a second, it's 3 a.m. There should not be a traffic jam. And it was clear to us that what was happening was the vehicles were probably getting up on the highway, and they were probably preventing people with their phones from getting on the highway. So, right, that unreasonable assumption that we all have that you're going to get a minute-by-minute traffic update is true. You are getting this immediate update that like suddenly people can't get on the road. It's very funny because I'm like, holy crap, the invasion is starting. And all of my colleagues who are junior to me, a lot of them are graduate students, are like, do we really want to stick our neck out on this? So we sat there for like 5-10 minutes and watched the traffic jam slowly go down the highway toward the Ukrainian border. And finally, I'm like, we have to say something. And none of them wanted to do it because I didn't want to like take credit. Like John's the one who found the thing. And John's like, I don't want any part of this. And so I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And so I put it on Twitter. And so we announced that that unit was on the move maybe an hour before the first bombs fell. And we just sort of sat in the office and just watched the war start.
Hey, if you like this, you can actually listen to the full interview right here. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Cheers.